Hey everyone, this is Crystal Dominguez, and we are bringing Wellness Wednesday to you today. I have a special guest with us. I'm really impressed with her. She has amazing art and she's very inspirational, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. She's going to be doing a few events with us here soon in July, so I'm really excited to introduce to you Shannon Joy. So I'm going to go ahead and add her here. Hey Shannon, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. So tell us a little bit about where you're from and, a little who you are.
Okay. I am Shannon Joy, and I recently moved to the Kansas City area from Springfield, Missouri, and I am absolutely loving it here. I love the culture. I love that there is kind of a more holistic view of things with a lot of the people that I've met here. And it's been really fun just getting to know the area. Awesome. I am an artist and an author, and I do inspirational speaking. So have a lot of irons in the fire.
Oh, that is so cool. I didn't even know you were an author too. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Awesome. I just published a poetry book. I have another one coming out, I think this month or next month. I'd have to talk to the publisher to see when that's coming out. And then another one that was supposed to come out at the first of the year. That's not a poetry book. It's just a hodgepodge of all my writings. So
yeah, well, that is so cool. That's amazing. So why did you decide to become an artist?
Well, I started my art journey really about 11 years ago. I was staying in a battered women's shelter, and I took an art therapy class. And while I was there, I just fell in love with art, with how it heals you and how being creative allows you to experience different sides of yourself that you might not have discovered. And when I left the shelter, I kept painting just for myself. And then in 2015, I had my first piece in an art show. In 2016, I had my first solo gallery exhibit. And then in 2018, I got really sick and I spent some time in the hospital. And when I got out of there, I realized that I no longer wanted to work a regular job. I wanted to be home with my kids. And so I stepped away from my job. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I knew that I loved to paint and I loved to write. And so I started that journey, and it has been absolutely amazing ever since. So.
Oh, wow. So tell me a little more about your health journey and your struggles or challenges that, you went through.
Yeah. So I've had a heart issue since I was young. They diagnosed me with a heart murmur, and my mind would go blank right now, but I'll get to why my mind's blank too. I had some issues with my heart from the time I was really young. And then in 2013, I had a brain injury that affects my memory centers and stuff like that. Well, it turns out I also had Lyme disease that I wasn't aware of. I had been diagnosed, but due to a couple of different reasons, I never found out that I was diagnosed with it, and I lived with it for 11 years before finally was just causing organ failure. And there was, it's kind of a long story, but basically they had diagnosed me with systemic scleroderma, which is where your organs turn to stone. And so they gave me medication to soften my organs. Well, Lyme disease attacks any organs that are weak. And since my organs weren't actually turning to stone, it was weakening my organs, which caused the Lyme disease to attack all of my organs, basically. And my body shut down. And so that was a very interesting time in my life.
You went through so much. Oh my goodness. Wow.
So,
and how do you feel now? How are you feeling now since that happened?
I'm fabulous now. It's been, so I do have sometimes some flare-ups of Lyme disease. And so at that point in time, I just have to treat those. And that will probably be the rest of my life, just because it was in my body for so long before I went through a treatment protocol. But in all honesty, most of the time I feel pretty good. And it's kind of fun. I mural full time, so that's very, very active, and being able to do that and homeschool my kids and take care of the things that I need to take care of. It's night and day difference. So
look at this boss mom. I love it. I love it. Well, what roles have art played in your personal life and your growth?
It has been so healing for me. Like I said, class. And so the entirety of my art journey has been about healing and about finding myself and about discovering these different avenues of creativity. And so it's really fun to dig into that, because you never really know what's going to come up. And so I'll do some intentional sketching, or, have intentions for a canvas or something like that. And then by the time I finish it, it's completely different from what I expected. And most of the time, way more colorful than I anticipated. And so it's always interesting to see, oh, that was what was actually inside and wanting to come out. And so it's absolutely amazing to see how our lives are reflected in what we create. And that can be about more than just art. I mean, anything that you're creating in your life is a reflection of your internal state. And so I think art is just a very visible part of that. Whereas a lot of times those things aren't as visible. And so, if you're creating a life of peace, that's something that you've fostered and cultivated inside yourself, but it's not something that people can visibly see necessarily. They'll step into your house and they'll feel it. But I think art is kind of that visible facet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Well, I want to go ahead and just bring up some artwork of yours. If you want to talk about it while I'm bringing it up, I'm just going to go flip through them. But Shannon has some amazing art, everybody. You have to see this. I'm in awe.
So this one is actually the first mural I ever got to do that someone was like, just take my wall and do whatever you want.
Oh, I love it.
That was my Parade of Hearts submission, and that is about community and about my dreams coming true by moving here. When I was 14, I actually won an art contest, and they brought us to Kansas City, and I was in love with Kansas City. But obviously life takes some turns and stuff like that. And so this is about I loved the Chiefs when I was little. And so it's about the growth and the connection and coming to Kansas City is what that represents.
Very cool. I love that. That's so cool. See, there's always a story behind everything. I love that. Let me go back to this one real fast just so you can.
Yeah, and that one is a 10-foot by 5-foot that I actually custom built for a client. And she said, I want something abstract. And before I painted that, probably 2 years before I painted that, I had written a blog post called Finding Home. And it was talking about how going into the forest was like finding home and feeling peace and all of this. And so when she gave me her idea for that, I was like, oh, I'm just going to paint that blog post. And so that's what I did. And that's what that painting is.
I love it. It's really beautiful. And then I just have some pictures of you, and I see canvases and people painting. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah,
so this was my Empower Her event that I did recently, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. We had 16 girls who came out, and we spent time together. We ate food, we painted, we talked about our inner child. It was beautiful. And a girl named Hannah Scher, she captured all of it and was an incredible person to work with.
Man, and then it looked like it looked like a beautiful scenery. I had to say that, like where you guys were.
It was at a lake in Springfield, Missouri, and it was gorgeous. The day was perfect. Everything about that day was amazing.
I love that. That's cool.
And then this one is a Paint Your Pet class. I did it at the Zoom room in Overland Park. And it was a lot of fun. It was storming, so a couple of people didn't show up, and we just had a blast and just painted our pets and talked about their personalities and had a good time. And those are easy because I do sketch out the pets beforehand. So basically it's just color by number, which
Very
makes
cool.
it super easy for people.
Oh, cool. Well, we might have to try that sometime. Very cool. And
this one was very similar to what we're doing with Canvas and Cannabis, where people came in and they got their drinks, and then we kind of freestyled it. I didn't sketch anything out beforehand. I just kind of walked them through the process, and we talked about the colors and choosing different things and what that represented. And it was a lot of fun. It was a huge class too. I think we ended up having like 30 something people there. And
wow, that's really good turnout. Good job on that. Wow, that's cool.
So it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So how do you hope that your work will impact others?
Well, it depends on all of them kind of the same. So whether it's speaking or writing or painting, I want people to be more in tune with their emotions and their own being when they see my work or when they hear me speak. I want them to realize that they have the power to create whatever they want in life, like what we were talking about before, like creating that internal state that you want to have in your external world. And
right.
A lot of times people forget that. And so it's my hope that when people see my art or when they hear me speak or when they read my book, they take that moment and it just makes that mundane little moment into a masterpiece in their world. And so,
look at you, you are a poet. I can already hear it the way you speak. I'm like, it's beautiful already. Like,
well, that's actually the name of the book that's coming out at the beginning of next year, is Mundane Masterpieces.
I'm going to have to read it. I'm going to have to get it. I'm going to have to read it. So who or what has been your biggest inspiration?
That's such a challenging question. So if we're going with the word what, always nature. I've been taking time recently to find new trails because I don't know the area very well. And so I just look up trail near me wherever I'm painting in the Kansas City area now, and just go and find some beautiful place to sit and be for my lunch break. But nature is definitely the place where I find peace. It's where I find serenity. It's where I feel like that's my connection to God or a higher power or whatever you call it.
Amen to that.
And so that is definitely the biggest inspiration. And then my kids, it's so funny. You never know how much your children are going to teach you. You expect to be the one teaching them. But in all honesty, my kids teach me and inspire me all the time. And I don't know that I would be where I am now if it weren't for my kids.
I can so resonate with that so much. Like my daughter she just blows my mind, and she teaches me, she shows me things, and it's just like,
it's absolutely amazing. So that's probably my biggest inspiration.
I love that. That's really cool. So I just want to go ahead and talk about some upcoming events we're having. We have coming up next is July 7th. We have a Women's Empower Her group, and that's on the first Sunday of every month from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. And then I'm so excited because this is the whole reason we're having Shannon here. On July 12th, Friday evening from 6 to 8:30 p.m., we are having Canva and Cannabis, and you can go ahead and go to our link tree and you can purchase your tickets there. It's $75, and I can't wait. She has inspired me so much already, and to sit in the presence of Shannon and just to feel her energy, I can already feel it through the video. So I mean, I'm loving it already. So I'm really excited just to try out all these creative moments we're probably going to have. I'm just so excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this one. Like I told you yesterday, the thing that keeps coming to mind is the hot air balloon. So I think that's what we're going to be doing. And I think the experience is going to be about, overseeing your life, like taking a step back and just looking at it as a whole tapestry. Because when you're up high in the hot air balloon, like you can see so much more. And I think a lot of times we get stuck in these little nitty gritty details of our lives, and we forget that we need to be seeing over the whole picture and how beautiful it is. And so I think that's kind of the direction that we're going, but who knows? Things change. So definitely been what's on my mind lately. So
that's awesome. That sounds super exciting. I've actually never been in a hot air balloon, and it's something that is definitely on my bucket list. And just to paint that, I think they're beautiful. Like when you see a scenery of all kinds of hot air balloons just coming up into the sky and stuff, and maybe the sun setting and everything, I think that's just a beautiful scenery. And I would just love to be able to paint something like that. And with an instructor like you, I'm sure we all can be fantastic at it, because I'm sure, like, just by looking at all your art, I'm amazed. That's all I can say is I'm amazed.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you came on, and thank you for your time, Shannon. This has been a wonderful experience with you already, and I can't wait for everybody to join us for July 12th that evening for Canvas and Cannabis. So you will see us soon, and out for more Wellness Wednesdays, everybody. And I appreciate your presence and time again, Shannon.
Thank you for having me. I hope you have a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.